They say the truth always finds its way home even when buried under years of silence and shame. But for Zuri, a 21-year-old university student, the truth didn't come knocking. It came dancing, in a glittering red gown, under the lights of a billionaire's birthday party. Zuri's life was simple. She lived with her mother, Mama Efima, in a small 2-room apartment, painted in faded blue, with windows that rattled whenever the buses passed. She was studying mass communication at the University of, juggling night shifts at a cafe just to afford her textbooks. So when her coursemate Kamsi, a bubbly girl from a wealthy family, invited her to a private birthday party, Zuri almost said no. But Kamsi had laughed and said, "Come on, girl, it's just one night. Free food, free music, and rich people drama to gossip about later." Zuri smiled shyly. "Kamsi, you know I don't fit in with those people. You'll fit in when they see your face. Trust me." Kamsi wasn't lying. Zuri was beautiful, effortlessly so. Her skin was the color of roasted chestnut, glowing even without makeup. Her hair was usually tied into a neat bun, and her eyes, wide, curious, soft, and sad, like she was always carrying a secret she didn't know she had. The night of the party, Zuri borrowed Kamsi's gold heels and her shimmering Ankara dress. She looked into the mirror and almost didn't recognize herself. Her mother, ironing clothes in the next room, paused and whispered, "My daughter, you look like someone I used to know." "Who, Mama?" "Never mind," her mother said quickly, turning away. There was something haunted in her eyes. Zuri brushed it off and left. When the Uber stopped in front of the mansion, Zuri froze. It wasn't a house, it was a palace. Marble driveway. Golden lights. Laughter echoing from the poolside. As she stepped inside, her heart thudded. Everyone looked expensive: silk dresses, designer suits, champagne glasses. Kamsi waved from across the room. "Zuri, you made it." But as Zuri smiled and began walking toward her friend, she noticed people staring. Not the usual stare of admiration. No. It was confusion. Then, she saw her. A girl in a fiery red gown, standing by the bar. The crowd seemed to move around her like she was the center of gravity itself. Zuri stopped breathing. Because that girl had her face. It was like looking into a mirror that had lived a different life, same features, same eyes, but where Zuri's life was dust and effort, this girl's was diamonds and ease. The music faded in Zuri's head. People whispered. Phones came out. "Are they twins?" "No, that's Talia Daramola, Chief Daramola's daughter." "Then who's the other one?" Talia blinked, her expression hardening. She whispered something to her friend, then began walking toward Zuri. Her heels clicked against the marble floor like warning shots. "Who are you?" she demanded. Zuri swallowed, trying to smile. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. Did someone send you here? Are you trying to play some kind of joke?" "No, I'm just a guest." "Guest?" Talia scoffed. "You're wearing my face." The crowd gasped. Kamsi hurried over, whispering, "Zuri, maybe we should leave." But Talia grabbed Zuri's wrist. "No. She's not leaving until I know who she is." The music stopped. Chief Daramola, tall, elegant, in a black agbada, turned from the balcony and looked down. His eyes met Zuri's. And in that split second, something in his expression cracked. His champagne glass slipped from his hand. It shattered against the floor. The room went silent. "Dad," Talia said, confused. "Do you know her?" The man didn't answer. He only stared at Zuri, his face pale, lips trembling. "Who's your mother?" he finally whispered. Zuri hesitated. Efima. Efima Chukwuma." Chief Daramola staggered slightly. "It can't be." The crowd erupted. Phones were recording. Talia's eyes widened in disbelief. You know her mother?" "That's enough," the man snapped, his voice trembling. "Everyone, out." Later that night, Zuri sat outside the mansion gate, trembling. Kamsi had gone home already. Her phone buzzed with social media notifications, clips of her and Talia trending. #twin at the party. Comments. "Omo. NA movie be this? Are they long lost sisters? That poor girl better watch out." Zuri's tears fell silently, Just then, a sleek black car pulled up beside her. The driver rolled down the window and handed her a card. Chief Daramola wants to see you tomorrow. 10 a.m. sharp. She stared at the card, the golden logo of Daramola Group gleaming in the moonlight. For a long moment, Zuri didn't move. Then she whispered. Mama was hiding something, all along. When Zuri got home, Mama Ifema was waiting. Her eyes were red from crying. You saw him, didn't you? Zuri froze. Who? Chief Daramola. Zuri's heart skipped. You know him? Mama Ifema turned away. Go and sleep, my child. Some truths are better left buried. Mama, please. But her mother's voice broke. If you love me, Zuri, don't go to that mansion. Zuri stared at her, then at the invitation card clutched in her hand. She didn't know it yet. But that decision would change everything. As Zuri stood before its golden gates the next morning, she didn't know she was about to walk straight into her mother's past and her own destiny. The security guard had been expecting her. Good morning, Miss Zuri. Chief is waiting inside. Zuri nodded nervously and followed him through a long marble corridor lined with family portraits. She stopped suddenly. On one wall hung a painting, an oil portrait of a young woman in a white dress. Zuri's heart skipped. That face, it was her mother. Younger. Smiling. Before she could speak, a voice echoed behind her. She was beautiful, wasn't she? Zuri turned. Chief Daramola stood there, tall and somber, his gold wristwatch gleaming under the chandelier. You knew her? Zuri asked softly. Knew her? He sighed. I loved her. Zuri froze. Your mother and I met over 20 years ago. She worked as my secretary when I was just building my company. She was kind, brilliant, and honest. Too honest for a man like me. Then why did you leave her? Zuri whispered. He didn't answer. His eyes were heavy with guilt. Some choices haunt you forever. I thought I was protecting her. I was wrong. Zuri blinked back tears. So it's true. You're my father? Yes, he said quietly. And I owe you a lifetime of apologies. But not everyone was ready to forgive. Upstairs, Talia watched from the balcony, fury burning in her chest. She had never seen her father so emotional. What does she want? Talia hissed to her friend, Mimi. Maybe she's after his money, Mimi said. Poor girls always are. Talia clenched her fists. Not in my house. That evening, she went to her father's study. Dad, why is she here? Talia. Answer me. Who is she? Chief Daramola sighed. She's your sister. The words hit like thunder. My what? I made a mistake years ago. Before your mother and I married, You cheated on Mum? He looked away. It was complicated. She never forgave me for it. That's why your mother doesn't live here anymore. Talia's chest rose and fell. So you just bring her here and expect me to smile? Do you know what people will say? I don't care what people say anymore. I only care about doing what's right. But for Talia, right didn't matter. She had grown up fighting for her father's attention, and now this stranger, this Zuri, was going to take it all away. Meanwhile, Chief Daramola showed Zuri around the mansion. Every room was a world of luxury chandeliers, glass walls, a grand piano, even a private art gallery. Your sister painted that, he said, pointing to a canvas filled with red and gold swirls. Talia paints. She used to. Before she started chasing the spotlight. Zuri smiled faintly, tracing the frame with her fingers. She felt like an outsider in her own story, a girl caught between two lives, one of struggle, one of privilege. Your mother never told you anything, the chief asked. Nothing, Zuri said. Every time I asked about my father, she said he was gone. I didn't know he was alive. Chief Daramola sighed. She was protecting you from me. From you. He hesitated. There were things that happened back then. Scandals. Lies. I made enemies trying to build my empire. She got caught in the crossfire. Zuri frowned. What do you mean? But before he could answer, a maid walked in quietly. Sir, Miss Talia wants to see you. Urgently. He nodded. We'll continue later, Zuri. Stay and explore if you like. Zuri wandered through the quiet mansion, drawn back to the art gallery. There, behind one of the large canvases, she noticed a half-open drawer. Inside, wrapped in silk, was an old leather diary, her mother's handwriting on the cover. Her breath caught. She opened it slowly. June 7th. Today, I told Daramola the truth. I'm pregnant. He looked terrified. He said his family would never accept me. He promised to come back for me. I believed him. Zuri's hands shook. She turned the next page. They came for me today. His wife's people. They told me to disappear. Said if I ever showed my face again, I'd regret it. I'm scared. Tears filled her eyes. So that was why Mema Ifema left. She wasn't abandoned, she was chased away. You shouldn't be in here. Zuri gasped, turning around. Talia stood in the doorway, her expression cold. I was just reading other people's secrets. How very poor of you. Zuri's face flushed. You have no right. I have every right. This is my house. My father. My life. You think you can just walk in and take everything? I didn't come here to take anything. I just wanted to know the truth. Talia smirked. Then here's some truth, you're not one of us. You never will be. She stepped closer, her perfume thick and expensive. You should have stayed where you belong, Zuri. Because in this world, girls like you don't survive. That night, Zuri sat on the edge of her bed, the diary clutched to her chest. She didn't know whether to feel angry or heartbroken. Her mother had suffered in silence for years, while Talia lived the life that could have been hers. Her phone buzzed a message from an unknown number. You don't belong there. Leave before it's too late. She frowned, staring at the text. No name. No clue. Her heart raced. Was it Talia? Someone else? She looked toward the window, the lights of the mansion glowing faintly through the curtains. Too late for what? She whispered. The next morning, Chief Daramola called her into his study. He looked older, tired. Zuri, there's something I need to show you. He handed her an envelope. Inside was a photograph, her mother, standing beside a baby stroller, and a younger version of him smiling beside her. This was taken the day you were born. I was there. Then why didn't you stay? Zuri asked, her voice trembling. He looked away. My father threatened to destroy everything I'd built. I chose ambition over love. It's my greatest regret. Zuri's voice cracked. You could have come for us. I tried. But by the time I did, she was gone. No address, no trace. She bit her lip. And now? What do you want from me? Nothing. Only a chance to make things right. He placed a golden key on the table. That's to your mother's old room. I kept it locked all these years. Maybe you'll find answers there. As Zuri walked down the long corridor, clutching the golden key, she didn't see the shadow watching her from behind the staircase, Talia, her eyes dark with rage. Because in that mansion of wealth and lies, one sister was searching for truth, while the other was planning her destruction. The corridor was silent as Zuri turned the key. The door creaked open, releasing a faint smell of old perfume and dust. Inside, the room was frozen in time, her mother's belongings untouched. A dressing table with faded lipstick, a half-empty bottle of Chanel No. 5, and a cracked photograph of her holding a newborn baby. Zuri's fingers trembled as she opened an old chest by the bed. Inside were letters. Dozens of them. Each one addressed to Chief Daramola. Each one returned, unopened. Her voice shook as she whispered. She never stopped writing to you. Then she noticed something else, a brown envelope at the bottom of the chest. It was stamped confidential. Inside was a DNA test result. Her eyes widened as she read the name. Zuri Ifema Chukwuma, 99.9% biological match with Chief F. Daramola. Zuri gasped. Her mother had proved the truth years ago, but no one had listened. Meanwhile, Talia sat in her walk-in closet, scrolling through her phone. The gossip blogs were buzzing. Clips of the party. Photos of her and Zuri side by side. Comment sections full of questions. They look like twins. Maybe Chief Daramola had a secret child. Poor girl finally found her rich family. Talia threw her phone across the room. She's turning me into a joke. Mimi, her best friend, smirked. Then make her regret it. How? Simple. Destroy her reputation before she destroys yours. Talia smiled coldly. If she wants attention, I'll give her all the attention she can't handle. 2 days later, Zuri returned to campus. Everyone was staring, whispering, pointing. Kamsi ran up to her, breathless. Zuri, have you seen it? Seen what? It's all over social media. Zuri opened her phone and froze. Her photo was everywhere. A fake screenshot of a bank alert, 5 million Nigerian nairas transfer from Chief F. Daramola. A caption. From broke to billionaire's daughter overnight. Some girls know how to climb fast. The comments were vicious. She must have seduced the man. Sugar baby upgrade. That girl is shameless. Zuri's hands shook. This is a lie. Of course it is, Kamsi said, but the internet doesn't care about the truth. Zuri knew immediately who was behind it. Talia. Zuri stormed into the mansion that evening, fury burning in her chest. Talia was lounging by the pool, sipping wine and pretending to scroll her phone. Why did you do it? Zuri demanded. Talia didn't look up. Do what? You know what I'm talking about. The fake alert. The lies. Oh, that. She laughed softly. You can't blame people for believing what they see. You did show up in my father's house, after all. Zuri's voice broke. You ruined me. Talia finally stood up, her smile fading. No, Zuri. You ruined yourself the day you thought you could take my place. Zuri's eyes filled with tears. I don't want your place. I just want the truth. Then here's the truth, I will never let you become part of this family. Ever. That night, Chief Daramola saw the trending posts. His jaw tightened. He called Talia to his study. What have you done? I protected our name. By humiliating your sister? She's not my sister. Yes, she is, he snapped. And if you can't accept that, maybe you don't deserve this house either. Talia's eyes widened. You choose her over me. I'm choosing the truth. She turned away, trembling with anger. You'll regret this, Dad. Both of you will. Later that night, Mimi sneaked into Zuri's hostel. Talia said to deliver a message. She handed Zuri a small flash drive. What is this? Watch it. Then decide if you still want to stay. Zuri hesitated, then plugged it into her laptop. A video played grainy footage of her hugging Chief Daramola in the mansion garden, followed by a voiceover edited to sound like she was saying, I'll do anything for your money. Her stomach dropped. It was fake, a deep fake. Her phone buzzed with hundreds of new notifications. The video was already online. Oh no, she whispered. The comments were brutal. So it's true, she's a gold digger. Imagine calling your father your sponsor. Disgrace to women everywhere. Tears poured down her cheeks. She won't stop until I disappear. Within a week, Zuri's life collapsed. She lost her part-time job. Her classmates avoided her. Even the cafe owner who once adored her whispered when she passed. At home, Mama Ifema held her daughter and wept. This is why I didn't want you to go there, she sobbed. That man's world is poison. Zuri's voice cracked. But I can't run, Mama. I have to clear your name and mine. The next morning, Zuri remembered something, the brown envelope she'd found earlier. Inside, along with the DNA test, was another document she hadn't noticed before. It was a paternity will, signed years ago, naming her as a rightful heir to Daramola Group, in the event of her father's death. Zuri stared at the signature. He meant to acknowledge me, even then. She took a deep breath. If Talia wants war, I'll give her one with the truth. 2 weeks later, Chief Daramola hosted his company's annual charity gala. Every major journalist and influencer in Lagos was there. Zuri arrived quietly, wearing a simple black gown. People whispered as she entered. Talia smirked from the front row. She's brave to show her face, she whispered to Mimi. But she didn't know Zuri had brought evidence. As Chief Daramola began his speech, Zuri stepped forward. The crowd turned. Excuse me, sir. I think the world deserves to hear the truth. The hall fell silent. Zuri placed the DNA test and the paternity will on the podium. Gasps filled the room. "I'm not here for your sympathy," Zuri said, her voice shaking but strong. "I'm here because my mother was silenced. Because lies destroyed her life. But not anymore." She turned to Talia. "You tried to destroy me with lies. Tonight, I destroy them with truth." A journalist stepped forward, reading the documents aloud. The crowd murmured in disbelief. Chief Daramola's eyes filled with tears. "It's true," he said softly. "Zuri is my daughter." The cameras flashed. People gasped. Talia stood frozen, her face pale. "No," she whispered. "This can't be real." Zuri held her gaze. "It's real. You just didn't want to believe it." That night, the Daramola Empire shook. The world now knew the billionaire's secret and the daughters he'd kept apart. Days later, the scandal spread like wildfire. Magazines called Zuri the hidden heiress. Talia vanished from social media. And Chief Daramola released a public statement, admitting everything. But the real story wasn't about wealth. It was about healing. One evening, Zuri having a conversation with her mother in their small apartment. The sun was setting, painting gold across their faces. "Do you forgive him, Mama?" "Mama," Zuri said softly. "I don't know if I forgive him, but I forgive myself. For staying silent too long." Zuri smiled faintly. For the first time, she felt light as if the chains of shame had fallen away. Sometimes, the richest people carry the poorest hearts. And sometimes, the forgotten ones carry gold within. Months later, Zuri was invited again, this time, not to a party, but to her father's private dinner. Talia was there, humble and quiet. She stood and walked to Zuri, holding a small box. Inside was a gold bracelet half broken. Talia said softly, "It's yours. I found it in Dad's old drawer. He kept it, all these years." Zuri looked up, surprised. Talia said, "I want us to start over. Not as enemies, but as sisters." Zuri's eyes welled up. For a moment, the room was silent and then she hugged her. Talia sobbed into her shoulder. "I'm sorry, Zuri." Zuri smiling through tears. "So am I." Chief Daramola stood by the window, his eyes misty. He whispered, "I failed both of you. But maybe, you can build something better." That night, for the first time, Zuri didn't feel like the poor girl who didn't belong. She was home not because of wealth, but because she found her truth. Months later, she launched her own fashion foundation for underprivileged girls, helping them build dreams without shame. Talia joined as co-director. Chief Daramola, now a changed man, quietly funded their projects. And when reporters asked Zuri how she stayed so strong, she smiled and said, "I wasn't looking for a rich father. I was looking for myself and I found her." In Lagos, where wealth blinds and secrets glitter, one truth will always shine brighter. Blood may tie you by accident, but love makes you family by choice.